All right, well, my name is Ann Albert, and when they said E9, I thought that this place was owned by a bunch of former military people, and this would be a Sergeant Major's bar. Now, if it's show of hands, my story is military related, if you can't tell. Anybody here related in the military in any way? Show me your hands. Okay, so some of you are going to get my story a little bit more than other people. Now, for other people, you probably have some conceptions about the Army. I joined the Army a very, very long time ago. And the day that I joined, the story didn't go exactly as I thought. You know how you think you're going to do one thing, but the day kind of ends up like totally way different? Well, that's my first day of joining the Army. If you've been in the Army, you know how it goes. You go to the recruiting office, you sign up, you say, I'm going to join. You go from the recruiting office, and they're going to take you to a place called a MEPS station. If you're in the military, you may remember MEPS stations. They are military entrance processing stations. Now, where I came across, I'm actually Canadian by birth, you'll catch it in my voice, but I came across in Plattsburgh, New York, and I had to travel from Plattsburgh to Albany, New York to go to the MEPS station. So I arrived at Plattsburgh early that day. My dad and my brother dropped me off, said, have a nice life, and turned the car around really quick. And there I was, and the recruiters were there, and they said, okay, well, you're joining these two guys. They're going to go with you. Now, I would describe these two guys, Dumb and Dumber. They had like, wow, look in their eyes. Like, you would say, hey, I joined the Army. What are you doing here? And I'm like, oh, this is not going to go good. Now, I already had some college, so they said, hey, Ann, you're a little older than these two guys, these nice gentlemen, Fred and John. So you're going to be in charge. You guys are going to take the bus from Plattsburgh. You're going to take the Greyhound bus. You are going to arrive in Albany at the Greyhound bus station. It happens to be a Sunday. Now, it's about a 200 and some mile drive. So we're going to get on the bus. We get on the bus, the Greyhound bus. When you get to Albany, Ann, PFC Albert, you are going to call this phone number. They gave me a piece of paper. When you call this phone number, they will come pick you up, and they will take you to the MEPS in processing. They'll take you to the hotel that night, and the next day you'll start your in-processing. You got that? And I'm like, yeah. So that's what we do. We get on the bus, we travel from Plattsburgh, we get into Albany, New York, Sunday night. It's about 9 o'clock. It's chaotic. There is people everywhere. But I have my orders, and already I was a good soldier, so I took my piece of paper out. I go to you have to be my age, phone booth. That thing you put the quarter in. Call the number. And they say, yeah, who is it? And I said, this is PFC Albert, and me and the two guys, we're here for pickup. And they said, okay, we're going to be there in a white van. Look for a white van. Now, it's the Greyhound bus station. But a white van pulls up. I'm like, hey guys, we get in this white van. So we do, we get in the white van. Now, what's interesting is a lot of other people get in the white van who are about our age. But they're cousins to Dumb and Dumber because they get in the van, silence, nothing. And I think, man, when people join the Army, they must really be afraid because no one's talking. So we're in the van and we're driving and we leave the Greyhound bus station. And I think, well, how far could this hotel be? And we're driving and we're driving. And we leave the city lights, and it's dark, and it's these backcountry roads, and I'm like, this is the weirdest place to put a hotel, but I've joined the Army, I really don't know how this works. Driving, and all of a sudden, we pull off this road, pull up to this place, and it has these big stone walls with gates. And I'm like, well, it's the military, right? Maybe this is a military base. So the gates open up, the van drives up the road, and we park. And there's a lot of these brick buildings all over the place, like schools, kind of industrial looking like this. And I'm like, well, this is a weird hotel, but I did join the Army. So we get out of the van, and all the other kids who were in the van disappear. They get out, and they go to that building, and this building, and me and Dumb and Dumber are standing there. We don't know where to go. And all of a sudden, we hear over this loudspeaker system, 10 minutes to lockdown. You have 10 minutes to lockdown. And I look at the other guy, and they look at me, still got that same look in their eyes. And I'm like, lockdown? Like, I know the Army strict lockdown? And this really big bruiser of a woman, she would give a bear a run for its life, walks up and said, "Did you not hear the announcement? You got 9 minutes to lockdown, get in there." And I'm like, and I'm looking at them, and they're like, and I'm like, excuse me, I think there's been a mistake. Tell it to that story's over. You've told it to the judge, you have 8 minutes to lockdown, get moving. And I'm like, ah. And these guys, I'm expecting them to jump in and, be of some help, and all I'm getting are, and I'm like, no, excuse me, really, I think there's been a mistake. No mistake, you have 5 minutes. And I'm like, tears are starting to almost come out, but I'm in the Army, I'm not gonna cry. No, I'm not going to cry. And I'm like, excuse me, miss. It's not miss, it is guard, blah, 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 whatever her name is. And I'm like, I said, I think there's been a really, really big mistake. I joined the Army. And Dumb and Dumber go. And then she turns around and she goes, oh, Fred, not again. So I think I'm one of the few people that I know who can say the first day that she joined the Army, she ended up in prison. I was in the Albany Youth Detention Center. So my first day I went to jail, and after that, every day in the Army was a piece of cake.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ann. Does anybody have any questions for Ann about her story?
Did you keep in contact with Dumb and Dumber?
No.
Did Dumb and Dumber ever improve upon their name?
I'm sure they had names. I just went with what was easy.
I'm saying, in your eyes, did they improve upon their names?
No, never.
Okay, they always remain Dumb and Dumber.
Sorry, guys.
First impressions do matter. All right, thank you so much, Ann. Thank you.